Am I the a-hole for saying in public that my husband is the infertile one? Plus update. Original post. English is not my language. My husband, I call him James 35 male, and I 30 female. We have been trying for a baby for a few months. We can't get pregnant, so we went to the doctor. And when the results came, it revealed that my husband is infertile. We were sad, but lived with that, and we're thinking about other options like adopting a child. Yesterday, we went to have lunch with his family, his parents and 4 siblings and their respective families. The topic of kids was brought to the table, and my husband said we can't have children of our own, so we are thinking of other alternatives. Then my mother-in-law, I know she doesn't love me, but she was always polite, said, "Oh my boy, you should find another woman. You know, one who is really a woman. I know you want kids, and I really want to meet my grandkids. I can find a pretty and fertile woman for you." It was very awkward, really awkward, and she said it with that poisonous tone that I hate. I thought my husband was going to defend me, but he just gave a little laugh, which made me angrier. In that moment, I looked mother-in-law dead in the eye and told her, "Pick up your words and say that to me." She looked confused and asked what I meant, and I told her, "You need to say that to me. That I need to find a man who is really a man, so I can have a child. I won't be mad if you find me a better and fertile man." I said it with a smirk smile. The table went dead silent, and my sister-in-law asked, "You mean that my brother is the infertile one?" I said, "Yes, and I will be so pleased if y'all find me a fertile man. Then in 1 week I can get pregnant, maybe with triplets." I said, laughing, "You know that my uterus is perfect, so it maybe could be quadruplets," I said, sounding more excited. The table went completely silent, and my husband's and mother-in-law's faces went pale. In that moment, I stood up, got my bag, and took an Uber home. About an hour later, James stormed into the house yelling at me for exposing him in that way. I yelled back that he let my mother-in-law humiliate me, so he had no reason to be mad. In that moment, I told him that I need a man who is really a man, not just fertile, a man who stands up for me when people are talking trash about me. He's sleeping in the guest room. I'm very mad and thinking of divorce. I can't be with a person who let his parents humiliate me in that way. It was pretty awful, and words can't express the way my mother-in-law said those words. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. Good for you for standing up for yourself. When I read she told her husband she needs a real man, not just a fertile one, but one who stands up for her when she's being given grief, I whooped. She's the husband she deserves. And if she's already so familiar with the venom of her mother-in-law's tone, then it's happened too many times without being shut down. And for her to have the audacity to say that crap in public with the expectation OP wouldn't speak back? No one in that family has ever had OP's back. OP, this might be something that is part of your culture, but that doesn't make it right for you to be treated like a womb and nothing else. Leave this clown in the whole circus of a family and go find joy in your future. Maybe you'll even find a husband who will be a man in every way for his wife. Thank you. He went this morning out of the house and said that he's going to talk to me when he gets back. Now the idea of a divorce is growing in my mind. And about my mother-in-law's comments, you are right. She makes little comments every time I see her. But this one wasn't little. Thank you for the support. Not the a-hole. Your mother-in-law is a nasty woman, and you returned her words to her when your husband didn't defend you. If he had told her she was out of line or shut down her poisonous behavior, you wouldn't have needed to say anything. They both got what they deserved. Oh my God, yes. I was hoping for him to say something like, "Don't talk in that way about my wife," or "You have no right." But he didn't. Now for the update. First of all, thank you all for the support and advice. Second, like a lot of you said, it's not the first time my mother-in-law made comments to me, but they were passive-aggressive ones, not like this. She always finds something wrong with my clothes, hair, makeup, cooking, car, literally everything. I talked with my husband a lot of times about it, but he brushes it off. The worst is my sister-in-law, because before me, my husband used to date her best friend, and she is still hurt by the breakup. I have nothing to do with it. Third, for all those who said that my answer was bad and nasty, I know that I may have answered kind of aggressively, but mother-in-law told my husband to get a new wife, and none of you were there to know how things happened. And obviously, I humiliated James, because the actual reason I got so mad was that he laughed about someone disrespecting me. Now the update. He came home about an hour ago and we had a short but intense conversation/fight. He said he feels very humiliated about me thinking he is less of a man because he can't have children. I told him that his mother humiliated me too, and he didn't feel bad at all. He said that in the moment he didn't know how to react. I told him, maybe by saying that she doesn't have any right to talk about me in that way and insinuate things. He went silent, and I told him that this isn't about the fact he can't have kids. It's about the fact that he lets people disrespect me, just so his masculinity doesn't get hurt. It's about how he always minimizes the bad comments his family makes about me. He said that he is sorry for that, but his family is very important, and he will not be disrespecting them. I said, I am your family too, and you let people disrespect me, so your words have no value. He stayed silent, and I told him, you are not the man for me. You are not the one to get older with, because you are a weak mommy's boy, and I need a man who knows my value and grows apart from his family. I told him I want a divorce, and to pack his things. He said that we can go to counseling. I said that we can better save that money for divorce proceedings. He packed his things and left, and tomorrow I will get a lawyer. I am hurt. Of course I am, but I know that I deserve better. Next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay for my girlfriend's half of dinner after she invited her whole family without telling me? So my girlfriend and I had planned what I thought would be a simple, casual dinner date. I made a reservation at a nice restaurant. Nothing too extravagant, but definitely special enough for us to have a quiet evening together. I imagined good food, maybe a glass of wine, and some time to really connect without distractions. When I arrived at the restaurant, though, I realized immediately that things weren't going to go as planned. Sitting at the table with her were not just my girlfriend, but also her parents, her brother, and even one of her cousins. I was completely caught off guard. No one had mentioned it beforehand, and she hadn't told me that our date night was going to turn into a full-blown family dinner. I didn't want to make a scene or ruin the mood, so I went along with it, even though I felt uncomfortable from the start. The evening itself was fine on the surface. Her family made small talk. We ordered a lot of food, and everyone seemed to be enjoying themselves. But in the back of my mind, I kept thinking about how different this was from what I had agreed to. Instead of spending quality time with my girlfriend, I was now essentially hosting her entire family without any warning. Then the bill arrived. The total was just under $400. Without saying a word, my girlfriend slid the check over to me and looked at me expectantly, clearly assuming I would cover it all. That's when I drew the line. I told her calmly that I was more than happy to pay for my meal and hers, since that's what I had agreed to when we made the plan. But I wasn't prepared to bankroll her entire family's night out. The reaction was immediate. She looked upset and accused me of not being a real man because, in her words, a real man wouldn't hesitate to take care of the bill. Her mother chimed in, making a snide remark about me being cheap. The atmosphere at the table changed instantly. It was tense and awkward. I stuck to my decision. I paid for myself and my girlfriend, but left the rest of the bill to be split among her family members. She ended up having to contribute as well, which clearly embarrassed her in front of them. Afterward, she told me I had humiliated her and made her look bad. Her family now thinks I'm rude and inconsiderate. From my perspective, I feel completely blindsided. I never agreed to take her whole family out, and I don't think it's fair to be expected to cover such a large expense without warning. A couple's dinner date and a family gathering are two very different things, and I would have prepared differently if I had known. Now I'm stuck wondering, did I do the wrong thing by refusing to pay for everyone? Or was it unreasonable for her to expect me to handle such a big bill on my own? Am I the a-hole? Your girlfriend is rude and entitled. So is her family. What are you doing? Yeah, I hear you guys. I don't think it was about the money as much as it was about respect. I'm always down to treat my partner, but being blindsided with her whole family and then being told a real man should just pay felt more about testing boundaries than anything else. I don't want to be in a relationship where generosity gets taken for granted or turned into an expectation. That's why I drew the line. This is a red flag, bub. The gotcha of the situation, expecting you to pay. The guilt trip and real man comment. Lose that baggage. Yeah, it was a total power move. Her trying to establish how things were going to go down for the future. Not the a-hole. That real man comment was gross from her. Does she normally act like that? If so, why are you with her? Yeah, that real man line really hit me wrong. I don't think relationships should be about testing each other or using labels like that. Respect matters way more than outdated expectations. What relationship? Why are you still there? Fair point. At this stage, it's less of a relationship and more of a reality check. That dinner told me everything I needed to know about where this was heading. Next story. Am I the a-hole? My mother refuses to acknowledge my spinal cord injury isn't fixable, and I've finally snapped at her. Basically what the title says, I, 17 female, broke my back just over 2 years ago. My spinal cord suffered severe damage, and it has left me physically disabled. I can stand on my own and walk short distances, but doing so often puts me in excruciating pain. Over the last 2 years, I have had 3 surgeries to try to repair the damage. And while they have lessened pain in some areas, the full injury cannot be repaired. My mother, 55 female, refuses to accept this, and over the last 2 years has pushed me into more and more treatments, even if I didn't want them, claiming every time that this would be the one that cured me. Both I and my father have tried to tell her that the nerve damage is permanent, and that the best course of action is to simply try to preserve my back, so I retain mobility as I get older, which is what 3 separate doctors have advised. My mother won't listen to us. She's become obsessed with trying to fix me and get me back to my old self. She keeps signing me up for treatments and programs without asking or after I've already said no. These treatments are usually exercise-based, holistic/natural remedies, or even still experimental procedures, and most of them have only ever left me sore if not injured. She also refuses to let me have any accommodations. I can't use a cane, wheelchair, or anything else around her, and often refuses to let me sit or lay down when I'm in pain. Over the last 1.5 years, my condition has been deteriorating, but my mother acts like she hasn't noticed, just keeps booking my usual doctor's appointments. Now it's gotten to the point where she insists on being in the doctor's office with me because she believes I won't give reliable information about my symptoms if I go in alone. Tonight I just couldn't take it anymore and broke down crying, telling her to stop trying to fix me and just help. I begged her to stop pushing me and to just try to accept that I'm not able-bodied anymore, but she wasn't having it. She told me that if Paralympic athletes could do it, so could I. That I had to stop making excuses, and that she only wanted what was best for me. I understand that denial is part of the grieving process, but I've already accepted it, and I just don't know what to do anymore. I've tried to be understanding, but she's really driving me to the end of my rope. So am I the a-hole for snapping at her? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. This seems like medical abuse. She won't let you use a cane or wheelchair? That's insane, OP. You deserve so much better. And why in the hell is OP's father allowing his wife to abuse her like this? Not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Your dad needs to step up and tell your mom to knock it off. He needs to either make her listen or make her back off and leave you alone, rather than just throwing up his hands and saying, "Welp, I tried." No, he needs to say, "You are hurting our child because you refuse to accept the advice of 3 different doctors." This stops now. OP needs to be accommodated for their injuries and allowed to use assistive devices and lay down when they hurt. My dad is trying. They've gotten into a lot of arguments about it, and he's even refused to take me to treatments she's scheduled because I didn't want to go. The problem is just that my mom won't listen, and aside from removing me from the house for short periods, there isn't much he can do. He's gotten me accommodations behind my mom's back, but we don't have all that many options. Last story. Am I the a-hole for prioritizing my children's relationship over my wife's preference? I have 1 son with my ex-wife and 3 kids with my current wife. My oldest is 19, The other kids are 13, 12, and 6, all boys except for the 12-year-old. My oldest traveled overseas during summer break, but there was a 2-week period where he was at school but had no class and no commitments, and he wanted us to come visit him. I said that we would go, and when I told my wife, she was annoyed I committed without asking her. I said we didn't have plans. She said I couldn't know that for sure without asking her. I said if there are plans I don't know about, surely that means she made a commitment without asking me. That argument fizzled out. However, she later informed me we were invited to go on a trip with some friends that would overlap, and she wanted to go on the trip. I said we already had plans. She said she never agreed to the plans, and the argument resumed. Eventually, I said she could do whatever she wanted, but the kids and I were going to fly out to visit my son. I said it's important for them to spend time together, so they continue to have a good relationship now that he's an adult, and we probably won't see him as much. She said I know she hates California, where his school is, and it's insensitive for me to just assume she's okay with going. I told her if she doesn't want to go, don't go. I'll go alone with the kids. She didn't want that, and the fight got intense, so I said we should ask the kids what they want to do. When we asked the kids, she really talked up her vacation plan and poo-pooed going to California, but the kids wanted to see their brother. She still didn't want me to take them after that, and we continued to argue about it right up until the kids and I left. We had a great trip. Ever since we returned from the trip, she has been frosty towards me. Last week, she dropped the bombshell of wanting to do couples counseling. I agreed, and we just found someone and made an appointment for September. All my friends say the counseling is a bad sign, divorced and married alike. I guess I just want to know what I'm in for. Am I going to go in and immediately get roasted for my actions? Ultimately, I love my wife, and I love my kids, and I want my kids to have a good relationship with each other. Is that so bad? I think you made the right decision. Your children come first, always. Your wife has to learn she can't throw a hissy fit and get her own way all the time. Counseling is a good idea. If you get a good counselor, they will explain this to her. If you're not getting along with a counselor, try a different one. You both have to feel comfortable and heard by this person. Best of luck. This person is supposed to be really good. They have a lot of great reviews. Not all the reviews were actually encouraging, but they were all positive. As many people wrote, Dr. X helped me and my spouse realize we weren't compatible anymore. As wrote, Dr. X helped us get our relationship back on track. Obviously, that freaked me out a bit. In my opinion, that is a sign of a good therapist. It means they are listening to each of you and not trying to railroad someone into agreeing.